So, one of the biggest ways that engineers and designers communicate with each other is through orthographic drawings. We learn how to do some beautiful pictorial drawings in isometric view, and that's used to give general idea of the shape to someone who doesn't know how to read the orthographic views. But essentially what these are is you take that isometric, that three-dimensional object, and then you turn it in 90-degree rotations to look straight down on the top, straight at the front, straight at the side. Okay, and typically these drawings are made and we add dimensions to them to communicate our design idea to whoever is machining the parts down on the production floor. So I'm going to be showing you how to do assignment 9-1, and important things to remember: your 45-degree triangle is your best friend for orthographics. You need to make sure you're paying attention to line weight and line type. Okay, so when I taped down my paper, I made sure that I had the horizontal lines lined up with my T-square, and then I taped it down so it wouldn't move. With these first several exercises, you're going to be provided with a top view, a side view, and a front view, okay? And you're supposed to be filling in the missing view. Now, one of the things that I want to stress is if you measure accurately on your dimensions for your height, width, and depth on any view, you should be able to translate it to any other type of view that utilizes that same dimension. So I don't even have my scale out for this assignment. I don't need it because they measured these correctly for me in the first place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 5H pencil and I am going to very lightly create lines of projection, which is the same thing as construction weight lines. And the difference, okay, it's the same line weight and it's the same concept. You're just taking the height information and projecting it over to where the front view is going to be. Okay, you're going to do the same thing with the width information. You're going to drop that down with vertical lines from the top view. Okay, and these are helping you construct the general boundaries of where your object's going to be. Again, they measured carefully on these, so I didn't have to measure anything for that. Just keeping my lines vertical and horizontal. So now another helpful thing they did on this drawing is they shaded in the view that you are trying to create. Okay, so now I'm going to come back with my H pencil and I'm going to darken in this vertical line from the very top to the very bottom. Okay, it looks like this will be a dark line all the way across the bottom. Okay, looking at this, it goes up that one little distance, so that's going to be a vertical line only until that point. It's going to be horizontal until that point. I bet you my head was in the view. Nope, I'm good. Okay, so a lot of us naturally want to use a 45, a 60, a 30, a 90-degree angle to finish up the drawing. But essentially, you can't tell what that angle's going to be unless they tell you. So we're just going to connect one intersection to the other with a dark object line. Okay, and now that front view is what completes this drawing. There's no other lines that are darkened in, and your construction weight lines should be so light you don't have to erase them. If they're dark though, you're going to want to go through and lighten them up a bit. If you have an end point that doesn't start and stop directly at that intersection, use your eraser shield to clean that up. This whole course is about neatness and precision, so you want to make sure you have exactly a clean endpoint starting and stopping right where the intersection is. On the bottom drawing, I'm going to scoop my camera down just a little bit. There we go. They have given us the front view and the side view, and now we're going to be drawing the top view. The top view goes right on top of the front view. Okay, and it's like we took that block and rotated it just 90 degrees. So you're not going to pivot it or turn it any direction that it doesn't belong. Now, the interesting thing is, when you are projecting depth information from a side view to a top view, there is a trick that you can use to keep those dimensions even without ever having to re-measure it. Okay, so I'm going to set this up so I can create my construction lines, projecting all of my width information from my front view to where my top view is. Okay. The trick to transferring this stuff over that way is a 45-degree angle. Now, the 45-degree angle comes from the glass box, okay, from the top right corner. This object takes up the entire height, but if I was going to create my 45, it would be from this corner on the glass box for the first exercise, okay? By creating that 45-degree angle, it does two important things, okay? It keeps my depth even when I transfer it, and it helps me keep my spacing between my two views the same. It's very important when you're doing orthographics that you have the same amount of space between each of your views. Typically, when we're going to be working on our own projects, it'll be 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters, just trying to keep it even and a nice easy number to remember. So what I did is I created that 45-degree angle. I projected those lines up, and the moment they hit that 45, that's when I am going to project them over. Okay, and it's okay if you draw on this isometric. Okay, that's not the part I'm grading. I'm grading your orthographic views. Okay, so this is just here to give you an idea, so go ahead and draw through it. I don't care. Okay, so I've given myself all of the lines I need to create the top view. Looking at this, it's on the furthest away from me, or all the way to the left of the object. It has a line that goes from the very back of the object to the very front. Okay, how do I know which is the back and the front? Well, this is the front view, and this side is closest to the front view, so that's the front. Okay, and that's the front. So I am going to darken in, oops, I have to clean that up. That little line. Bring these forward. Okay, and I have created that shape. So I'll go back and I'll make sure that all of my endpoints are nice and clean. That one hung over just a little bit. Okay, and my eraser shield wiggled, so now I have to go in and clean up that line just a bit. There we go. With these three objects, there is not any hidden information. We're looking at all the views with all the information showing, so we didn't need hidden lines. Hopefully this is a good start for you. Take the time to create this assignment. Make sure you put your name and the date at the bottom, and then when you're finished, flip the page over for the next lesson.